Okay, so the first question is, what is your job like?
Okay, so I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist,
Mhm.
which is a pretty common license in California. It's not as common in other states, but California has like a big supportive community of marriage and family therapists. So, what I do with that is I work in a private practice and I see kids, teens, families, and then I'm also starting to see some pregnant and postpartum mothers,
Mhm.
and I provide therapy for them, and support them in whatever way they need. So sometimes I'll talk to their school or, work with their family around helping them with their mental health needs.
Nice. What is a typical day of being a marriage and family therapist?
Well, the great thing about private practice is that I make my own schedule.
Mhm.
So in the past, I worked with an agency where I had a set schedule where every day, I went in at 8:30 and I worked until 5.
Mhm.
And so that could be what it looks like to be a marriage and family therapist if you work at an agency. But since I quit there and I started my private practice, I set up appointments when I can, when I want to go into work. So because I'm a mom also, I work in the evenings and on the weekends when my husband's home.
Okay.
So like a lot of times what I would do is I'd be home with the kids all day, and then Paul could get home at like 3:30, and I'd go to work and I'd see clients maybe at 4, 5, and 6, and
Mhm.
I could be home for dinner at 7:30, put the kids to bed, and then I can finish up my paperwork and emails
Mhm.
like after they go to sleep.
Nice. What are the main responsibilities that you have?
So the main responsibility is to provide psychotherapy, which
Mhm.
is supporting people's mental health. Um, and then, some of the other main issues are, assessing for any suicidal ideation, making sure that people are safe. I'm a mandated reporter for child abuse, so that's another big area, is just making sure that the kids that I work with are safe. And then there's all these legal obligations of, documenting, so making sure I'm taking notes and following up if there are any risks, that I'm following up with that and making sure that people are safe.
Okay. What are the main problems that you deal with on a day-to-day basis?
So I work a lot with students who have anxiety. So
Mhm.
a lot of teenagers, high school students who are experiencing anxiety and depression. Some, have both anxiety and depression at the same time. Some are just anxiety, some are just depression. I also work with families around divorce, or if there's been any death in the family, helping people with grief. And then also with some younger kids, some like hyperactive or inattentive behaviors. Those are kind of the main ones.
Okay. Why did this job of becoming a marriage and family therapist interest you in the first place?
So I always knew I wanted to work with people, but I
Mhm.
wasn't sure how. Um, and I knew I wanted to work with kids. So I actually started um, my undergrad career. I studied psychology, specifically child and adolescent development, because I knew I wanted to work with kids. And then for grad school, I started in the teaching program because I thought, maybe I want to be a teacher.
Mhm.
And then as soon as I started learning more about curriculum and, tests and all the like kind of nitty gritty of what teachers have to worry about,
Mhm.
I realized I was more interested in how each kid was doing, like what was really going on for them. And I wanted to have more time with individual kids. So I switched to school counseling, which was in the same graduate school as teaching. And I started my school counseling program. And I really liked that. I liked the idea of like working with kids more one on one and helping them. But then I learned that school counselors also do discipline and administrative work. They don't just get to help kids.
Okay.
So then I added on the marriage and family therapist portion, which added, I think, like a year and a half to my graduate program.
Mhm.
So I was able to graduate with both, they called it a dual track, the school counseling credential and also the licensed marriage and family therapist specialization. And so that, it was kind of like trial and error for me to figure out that I just really wanted to be able to sit with kids in small groups or one-on-one and really get to figure out what's going on for them and how to best help them. Um, and it took me a little while to figure out what job that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the most challenging and the most rewarding parts of your job?
I think the most challenging part is the paperwork. Like, so there's just requirements that I document everything I do, which makes sense. It's a lot like, any doctor or anyone who serves patients, that I'm recording what services I'm providing. So there's a record for that. And that part is just not as fulfilling for me to do all that paperwork and do the billing, because I also do all of my own like business things. So I'm doing the marketing and networking and billing and the record keeping. So that all those pieces I don't find as fulfilling, but I do them so that I can, have this time with my patients, with people I see. And so then the most fulfilling part is just anytime I'm getting to be with people. So when I get to actually sit with a kid and, do some artwork or play a game and figure out what's challenging for them, that's the most fulfilling part. And then obviously seeing improvements is really fulfilling too. Like being able to see somebody's life change and get better is really awesome.
How has the coronavirus impacted your job and the people you work with?
So it's changed it a lot, especially because I work with kids. Normally, my go-to, sessions, the time that I have with the kids, we're doing games, we're doing art, we're, like playing catch or playing on the floor together.
Yeah.
So all of that had to stop in mid-March and go to video sessions. And so the majority of my clients continued to see me over video, but it just wasn't the same. It's hard, to play a game over video or to do artwork together over video. So some clients decided that, they wanted to take a break until they could have in-person sessions again, which makes sense. And some people, we just continued, I continued supporting them over video, even though it was harder and I think, not quite as fulfilling. And I think it's also was really draining for kids who have Zoom for school all day, right? Like they're doing a video platform for school. And then at the end of their school day, they have to get on video to talk to me when they're already drained and tired of, video platform contact. So it was really hard. I didn't find the work as fulfilling when it was over video. And I think it was more draining for the kids too, because that was like the only way they could connect with their friends and with their school and with their therapist. We're not really designed to have social contact over video for most of our day.
Yeah.
Hold on, buddy. Sorry. Can you go back out for a few minutes? I'm on a meeting. Can you come back in 10 minutes? I'm talking. A Zoom call, yeah. Sure. Come here. Sorry. Can you edit the video?
Yeah.
Okay. Charlie wants to say hi real quick. Do you want to come say hi to Olivia? And then you could go back downstairs. Come here. No, Papa J is not on the call. But we could call him when I'm done.
Nona?
It's not Nona. No. But you could say hi to Olivia and then you could go back downstairs. I know. We'll call them afterwards, okay? You wanna say hi?
Hi.
Okay. You go downstairs and then we could call Nona or Papa J after I'm done, okay? I'll be downstairs in like a half hour. 30 minutes. 7. Okay, go down for 7 and we'll see. Sorry about that.
Okay. So big.
Yeah, he's getting big. He's like almost 3. He'll be 3 in September.
Oh my goodness, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, here are 2 more questions.
Okay.
How well did your college experience prepare you for your job?
I think my college experience prepared me really well because for undergrad I studied child and adolescent development, and I use that a lot. And then for graduate school, most of the classes prepared me really well. But part of it was also just experiencing and learning and kind of trial and error. So the graduate program I went to was a master's in counseling, and they don't really cover anything about the private practice other than the counseling, which makes sense. Like they don't talk about how to set up a business or how to market yourself or how to network or how to do billing. And even like the note-taking aspect, they don't really prepare you as much for that. But when I did my field placements while I was in graduate school, the more like hands-on experience that really helped to like practice all those things out in the field and learn from people who are already in the field. So that was really helpful. And then part of it is just learning on my feet, learning as I go. I had to kind of research how to start a private practice and what that entails. And I think that's okay. I mean, I didn't really expect my graduate program to teach me how to run a business because it wasn't a business program. But that was one aspect that was interesting, like that it really just focuses on the counseling. And then depending on what you do with that degree, there's lots of other options where you kind of have to add on to your experience to figure it out.
Okay. And then the last question is, what is the typical career path to becoming a marriage and family therapist?
So most people, I'd say most people study psychology for undergraduate, but you could study anything for undergrad. And then it's a master's program. So you get a master's in counseling with a specialization in marriage and family therapy. And then you could also so people who do doctorate programs they also qualify. They meet the same requirements for licensure. So then post your master's degree or post doctorate degree, then you have to get 3,000 supervised hours from a marriage and family therapist supervisor. Okay. So during that time, that's when I was working at an agency because they provided great training and great supervision. And all that time, you have to meet with a supervisor weekly to make sure, that you're doing a good job and caring well for your patients and that you're learning all the ins and outs of the profession. So for me, that took about 3.5 years to get the 3,000 hours. And then you have to pass 2 different exams. They're like both computer-based exams. And then I'm licensed. And I think every 2 years I have to renew my license, and I have to do continuing education to make sure that I'm current in the field and that I'm, continuing to be supportive for patients. But as long as I keep that up, then I'm licensed for life. Well, I guess until I stop paying the renewal. So I have to renew every 2 years. And then the school counseling credential that I got, also when I did the dual track in graduate school, I paid for that credential, I guess. And then that I have for life. So if I wanted to switch to being a school counselor, I could apply for a job at a school, and I'm a credentialed school counselor also.
Well, those are all the questions I have.